Hello there and welcome to the Star Wars Showcase YouTube channel. Today we're taking a look at a G.I. Joe classified figure, namely our 60th anniversary Action Sailor Recon Diver. Now today's insights come from someone who primarily collects Hasbro's Star Wars Black Series line, but I have just been so impressed by G.I. Joe Classified these days that I am picking up the occasional figure here and find myself wishing more and more that the Star Wars Black Series line could replicate some of the awesome stuff that G.I. Joe is doing here. So what you've just seen here is our fully loaded Recon Diver here, who comes with a ton of gear, very similar to our 60th anniversary Action Soldier, the infantry one, who I reviewed last week if you'd like to check that out. But looking more closely at our diver here as I strip away some of this gear, it is very clear just how much this one $35 figure is coming with. And I think for the Star Wars Black Series line, which struggles with the classification of, deluxe figures, I think for G.I. Joe here, you certainly can make the case that you are getting your bang for your buck. So with the majority of the gear stripped away here, we have a pretty solid figure just as our base model to go off of. Obviously, he's supposed to be in a wetsuit, so he's a little bit skinnier when it comes to some of the proportions on the arms and the legs, but we're getting solid articulation, double jointed there on the knees as well as the elbows, which is something that G.I. Joe does, and the Black Series does less of. And one nice thing that G.I. Joe does as well is you get these different hip pouches and holsters, this sort of, I think that might be a life preserver. I'm sure the more military aficionados could correct me there. But we're getting some nice solid gear on top of this figure that I think for the Black Series would be what you would be getting, just with a figure, nothing else besides that. What we also get with this particular release is two different head sculpts, so you can choose if you'd like to do a Caucasian or an African-American look. You can also, if you pick up multiple of these sets, just have a more diverse squad that way, which is always great, especially when you're doing photography, to have some different looks for a couple of different figures. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the gear that our diver is coming with. First up, we have our normal pistol, which also comes with a suppressor that pops right into the front of the pistol there. That suppressor can also fit into his rifle, which is a nice effect here. And for someone who's going to be making, like a clandestine, amphibious assault, always cool to see our figures come with some accessories like this. The removable silencer or suppressor there, I think is just a nice bonus. And both of these items fit nicely in some of the different holster pouches on the diver's hip there as well as his chest. If our diver needs to pack a little bit more of a punch, he comes with this rifle as well. This does include a removable magazine, which is pretty standard for our G.I. Joe releases. I think no diver would be complete without a spear gun, and I think this is a really cool accessory here. The spear at the top there, unfortunately, is not removable, so you are stuck with this one look, and that goes for the strap as well, which is kind of frozen in place in this one sort of appearance there. So might have been cool if we'd gotten a little bit more movement there or a different kind of material, but I think considering just how much we're getting with this figure, that's kind of a small complaint on my part. And our spear gun here has a companion piece, as our diver comes with this nice little backpack accessory. I think it's a backpack. I'm not all that familiar with scuba gear here. But when you slot that onto the open peg on the diver's back, the spear gun is also able to fit nicely in this little slot that we've got here. And so when you're looking for that fully loaded look, or if you just want him to have some more equipment, we've got some nice options that way. And no diver would be complete without some flippers to go with it as well. And I really got to compliment some of the design work that was done on these. As you'll notice, there is a hole there in the foot portion of the flippers themselves. I'll come back to that in a moment. But we've got some nice kind of a rubbery feel to these. They fit really well on his feet. And I think that really provides some balance for the figure here. Is when you're loading, very top heavy with all of this gear, getting a more stable foundation means that figure is going to be able to stand in some different poses. Looking at some of our other accessories here, our diver comes with a nice knife accessory that fits really well into this little holster or sheath that is on his leg. Really cool to get some different effects, some different loadouts, whether that's the pistol and the knife or just the rifle by itself or any combination. I am a big fan too of some of the other diving or breathing apparatus here that comes with this particular figure. I think this mask here is really great, and you'll notice we've got some transparent lenses there, so you're actually actually able to pretty clearly see the diver's eyes there, which I think is a well done effect. Sometimes that comes off a little bit frosted, so you can't really see things, but I think it's being well executed here. Once you get that helmet apparatus with the chest piece on there, there also is this other attachment. I can't tell you the feature or the function of it, but it looks really cool from a non-diver's perspective. To round out our accessories, our diver here also comes with this satchel, and at this point you're kind of running out of space on the figure, so I suppose you can choose certain elements that you might want to feature or try to load them up as much as you possibly can, but having some nice piece of maybe equipment or explosive to come with them I think is a nice touch as well. As with our Action Soldier Infantry, we've also got a pair of dog tags for our diver to wear, so I've done things out of order, probably should have put those on first. And then I think lastly coming with this set is this propulsion device here. It comes here in two pieces, one with the kind of more motorized fan portion, and then a larger portion in the back there. And if you zoom in, you've actually got some nice kind of like warning label looking writing there. And so not only are you getting quite a few accessories, you're getting some really good detail on them as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that we would come back to those flippers with that little hole, and the call out here is that even when our diver is wearing these flippers, he is still able to use the stand that he comes with as well. And I think that's just a little bit of smart engineering there, is oftentimes you have to choose one or the other, but now you can have this fully kitted out look and still incorporate the nice stand that these 60th anniversary figures are coming with. So, in summation here, I think this is a fantastic figure. I think it totally justifies the deluxe price point, and it's just another example of G.I. Joe really hitting it out of the park here. And I think for the Black Series, if we could take one of these lessons over, I would love to see them do kind of a build-up accessory pack here, where we get kind of a basic figure, a stormtrooper or a clone trooper, something like that, and then tack in all of this extra gear here, so we can make one really kitted out look here, or a couple of alternate looks here that vary in gear as well. I think that would be very popular with army builders, with action figure customizers as well, so hopefully this is a trend of what is to come for some of our other Hasbro lines. So let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this particular figure, as well as some of the different ideas that I shared here. And if you're interested in checking out some of the other reviews that we have up of either G.I. Joe or Star Wars, make sure to check out some of the other content up on the channel.